Good morning, Internet. Happy Wednesday.
It's 2:30. 2:30.
Oh, fuck. You're right.
It's-
I woke up actually at 9:30, and then I did, had a moment of incredible efficiency where I did 80% of the work I need to do for the day. And then I was like, wait, I only slept for 3 hours, and then I passed out, and now here I am. So you're catching me on the downswing of my efficient day already.
wait, you're saying your day is already over?
It's on the way down. Well, I'm gonna after this, I take another nap, and then I turn on my stream, and then I do
another nap.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I don't remember.
Are you like 85?
I don't know. I think my body and my mind and my soul and every part of me is a different age. I feel like a homunculus of different energies.
That's really good. What is a homunculus?
Now I'm glad you asked, because I have actually been researching that as of last night, because I am joining another D&D group with my buddy Brett Ultimus, who is DMing a Wizarding World themed D&D campaign where we're like students of a Wizarding Academy, and my student, we all get familiars, and I picked a homunculus for mine, which is essentially a little flying squirrel type creature that is made out of clay and like a mandrake root and like a bunch of other weird stuff, but is like basically a sentient little squirrel bat that you can see through the eyes of and basically shares all of your thoughts.
Cool.
So, yeah, I don't know why I even referenced that, because it's not exactly relevant to what I am, but it is a construct, which I'm surprised by. I thought they were little squirrel things, but they're actually they're made of mud and roots.
They're like, what is it? It's like a mandrake root. Is that what that is?
Yes.
The big root thing that you like use for magic.
Yes, exactly. That's one of the ingredients to make them, and they are very cute looking.
All right. Well,
now I don't mean to artificially intrude, but my understanding was the homunculus was more of a class of mythical creature, not specifically a squirrel familiar.
Yes, you're
and
right.
I'm ready to get violent about this if I need to.
I already said you're right.
Okay, I just wanted to establish the stakes early.
Right.
Lest it come to me, I don't know, punching a hole in drywall or something.
I was quoting the D&D 5th edition version of homunculus, but
that explains
I agree. They are they do have it's a common term and phrase, and there are multiple interpretations. The little squirrel, I think, is just one of them.
Do you think that
what is your best
one.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think these things were they made up in like the 16th century, or were there things that like sort of existed like this in the 16th century, and now that it's been 400 or 500 years, they seem like they could be real, but in reality they were just made up by people back then?
Well, I think a lot of it is fables and like, old wives' tales from back then of, oh, you better eat your gruel or the homunculus is going to get you.
Yeah.
And, the kids are like, oh. So that's like one version of it. Then it's also probably like the first person that saw, I mean, we know it's not a flying squirrel necessarily, but like if you saw a flying squirrel and you didn't know what the fuck that was, and you're like, why was that rat flying? And you go back to your town and you're like, I saw a thing that just flew. I'm going to call it a homunculus.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay.
That makes sense.
So, I think a lot of it is misinformation plus like storytelling, really.
It's like leprechauns and things like that we see now. You guys have seen the most classic video on the internet of where they found a guy, the leprechaun in that I forget, it's like a Georgia neighborhood, or and they're all they showed an artist rendering of it. It's just a guy with a hat on, and they said there was a leprechaun. It's what a beautiful video. You should look that up at some point. But that's
old internet.
Yeah,
lore.
It's old internet lore. But that's the same thing. It's an urban legend. Everybody who say the leprechaun say yeah, and they go yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Lawrence, you never seen that?
Yeah.
No, that's new on me.
What?
Really?
Oh, it's so good.
Apparently, there are significant gaps in my my meme knowledge.
Oh, that's like the oldest meme, actually. But
Okay, I gotta check that out then.
yeah, please.
It was one of those ones that started the whole you can auto tune everything trend, where it's like, they've auto tuned him, singing the things he says, and everyone's like, "This is hilarious! It's like a song."
Yep.
And then, that started an era of every time a big media like movie or show references being popular on the internet, they like have an auto tuned version of that clip. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Auto tune the news.
If you look at
Auto tune the news is called.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and it's
Lawrence, you know what that is, right?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
good. I'll
Like
take
that.
that. All right. Yeah. Make sure.
I think that auto tune was one of the first auto tunes. I'm trying to think of what
it
came
totally,
before that.
It totally was. It was the same guy that the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt was based on.
Oh.
That's why that theme song is like an auto-tuned theme song, the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt theme song. It's based on an actual video of a guy who found a woman who was in a cellar, and then they auto-tune the news made. It's so meta. It's like 4 levels deep, but that's why they did it. So
Huh.
yeah. But, yeah.
Damn, the classics.
Internet. Oh, by the way, welcome to Talk to the Internet number 31. We skipped a week. We took a break.
Missed.
Yeah, we took a break.
Bruce, you just nailed it.
People were like, "Where is the podcast?" And I was like, "Hey, we took a week break. We took a week."
People miss us.
They did. They were asking where we were, and I said, "We took a break, man. Is that okay?" And they said, "Yeah, all right, that's okay."
Yeah, fine. Just this once though.
They-
And they spit where the podcast used to be, and then it jokes on them because of their monitor.
Yeah, so we're back, and I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about what's going to happen to PS5 tomorrow? Unfortunately, by the time this goes on YouTube, it will have already happened. So all the things we say will be completely outdated.
It won't, because this is Naxxmas Eve. We can go ahead and talk about how good Knack 3 is going to be.
Oh.
And then tomorrow, it will still be good.
They're not going to talk about. There's no way they're going to have Knack 3.
How can they not, Bruce? How could you demonstrate the power of the PlayStation 5 without a new Knack game?
There is no way they're.
It doesn't make sense.
They're not going to have Knack 3. Why would they do that? Knack 2 didn't sell, right?
Sales don't matter. To a creative genius like Mark Cerny, he's got a vision, he's got soul, he's got heart, he's got emotion, and he's got drive. All of the things that I am currently lacking, which is why I need him to make Knack 3 for me.
How much? All right. This is it. We're putting our stake in the ground right now.
Yeah, Knack 3.
No, not Knack 3. How much do you think the PS5 will retail for? Do you think it will be, so like, and I'm not talking about like all the different models or whatever. I just like the one major model they sell, the one that everybody's going to buy. You think it's going to be $400? You think it's going to be $600? Now's your time. Now is your prediction, because again, this will come out after they tell us, unless they don't tell us tomorrow. I want you guys to predict, and then we'll see. And then whoever wins, I'll send a slice of
That much money.
I'll send a slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh,
What do you mean? Oh,
bad.
you don't want that? Oh, come on. That's awesome.
I want the money.
Jeez.
Well, Criken, I mean, I feel like just a little bit of imagination can get you what you need. You get that slice of cheesecake, you put it on eBay, you sell that for $50, and then you're in the cash. You just got to get I have some padded mailers if you need some shipping materials. I'm willing to help you out there.
for the cheesecake.
Yeah. They're flat rate. It's like $4.
And then also, if I win, I will send myself a slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. Because I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that anyways. So
That's going to be your PS5 snack, is just one slice of cheesecake?
one slice of cheesecake, exactly. Which is
Shouldn't you eat like something that is related to the PS? The PS.
all right. Yeah. What is that?
So like, I mean, we already seen. Didn't they leak a picture of it? So we know roughly it looks like a.
Wait, has a picture leaked of it?
some sort of. Oh, should I not
Lawrence, is
talk about that?
I know the controller has, but has a picture of the.
I didn't see a pic. I mean, I've seen pictures of
saw-
like supposed dev kits, but I don't know about the actual console.
No,
I saw a picture of the console.
Yeah.
It
Ooh.
looked
What?
chunky. Yeah, it's a big boy.
Ooh.
I'm googling it right now.
I'm gonna look-
Oh
like a-
wait,
like a brick.
Hold on a second.
I've seen. Wait a minute. Wait.
I don't want to show it on the stream, so I'm gonna Google it on my phone. PS5.
When I Google.
Who are Criken sources? Twitter.com, baby. So take it or leave it. I'm personally, I don't really know. I don't know if I trust it. And I don't really care.
It just looks
either.
like the 4. It looks
like a 4.5 to me. It looks like they just stacked them.
I guess.
All of the pictures I've seen, or just by googling PS5 like console leak or whatever, all the pictures there are ones I've seen before, like a million times.
Well, in that case, I think it's safe to say it's gonna be rectangular. It's gonna be probably black or gray.
Mm-hmm.
What? Well, I mean, can't we infer a lot from the designing of the controller?
The controller's white.
Mm-hmm. And it has like it's
they're
rounded.
Gonna go as far as to make a easily dirtied, white, shining eyesore that I don't know about that, Chief.
Well, they're making a controller, and you put your dirty little hands all over that. This is just going to sit on the console. I don't think white's a good idea.
The dust also sits on the console table.
I'm not defending
white
it.
Things to cling to.
I agree, and also like glossy white is the worst. So
yeah,
the controller I didn't like. Kind of already went through that, but I have to assume the console is going to inherit those design sensibilities, which means it's going to look like an endgame suit that sits on your entertainment center.
So you think it's going to be black? I was really hoping it was going to be white, because that would be a total, like a completely
game changer.
It would be not a game changer, it'd just be completely different. So I mean, it's the same old fucking console. We crammed a bunch of CPUs in it and GDDR5 and call it a day.
We're all forgetting actually that the Xbox 360 was white, or one of the designs was.
It was,
but it had hot faceplates. You could customize it. You could customize your look.
Oh yeah, that's
however
right.
you wanted.
What other problem did the Xbox 360 have? It would overheat.
The red ring. Yeah.
Why? Because
it
was white. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
So they shouldn't do that. I rest my case.
Well, the controller is white. Don't we know that for sure?
They should change that too.
I mean, the one we saw was white, but I think people speculate that there was another teaser that it was weird. It showed a controller that was in a very weird lighting situation, and it looked like it was all black, or at least like slate.
Oh.
But it may have just been lighting, or it was heavily stylized.
I could get behind slate.
Slate.
That'd be cool. That's a handsome color.
So handsome.
But we never really discussed prices, though, did we? That cheesecake is still floating in the air.
We're getting there. You know that if you guys hashtag anything on Twitter with PlayStation 5, that it shows a little white controller next to it. You know that, right?
So you're saying Twitter knows the truth?
I'm just saying that. Why would they make the controller has to be white? Why would they make the hashtag a white controller on Twitter? Sony had control over that.
Stand out from every other standard controller that's black?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Well, there you go.
But that'd be... Oh, yeah. Never mind. No, Lawrence has got a bunch of controllers that are different colors.
I mean, a lot of them are black. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but those
This is the crowning achievement. Project Scorpio controller. Yeah, that's the good shit right there.
Why do you have...
This guy...
Why does he have...
I don't know why I'm digging through it.
Why did so
I
many
just shoved all my controllers in here.
Man, a lot of controllers.
Yeah, well, I have to have them at the ready. Headset cord is getting caught on stuff. This is the crown jewel of my controller collection. Wait, no, never mind. No, it's not. What? What is this?
What do you have? Wait.
It's like it's a knockoff DualShock 3, but I thought like
whoa,
it still has the circle triangle. Like I thought all that was trademark Sony, so nobody else could get away with that. It doesn't have the PlayStation logo. I don't know. It was $10 on Amazon. I needed a replacement. What else is in here? Ooh, that's some good stuff. I don't know. Whatever. Oh, the real color is gold. That's what we need.
Oh, this is all the color. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Price.
Sorry.
Criken.
Huge site.
What do you think?
Price.
What do you think?
I think Sony shot themselves in the foot those years ago with that $599 US meme.
Yes.
Because I don't think they can possibly price anything at that, like ever.
Ever again.
It's just going to be shot down. So I think it has to be $499 US, because I don't think they can actually bump it up to 100.
Well, good news then, Criken, because I agree with you. I think it's going to be. That's not a controller. That's a joystick.
Someone in your chat was asking for the fight sticks.
Oh.
I had to oblige.
I'm going to say $499 US, and the first game that comes out is Ridge Racer 2 or whatever it was.
2?
No, I don't know.
Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer. Giant enemy crabs. I mean, like, because unless, fuck, I don't know. I want to say $400. I really want to say it's $400, but I think it's going to be $500. I think PlayStation 4 has gotten them so, like, it's puffed up their chests and they've gotten the husband bulge. So I think they're like, we can't do any wrong, so we're going to raise them $100, and we're going to say it's $500. That's what I think. Well, Lawrence, what about you?
I'm feeling $599 electric boogaloo.
Whoa,
myself.
Back to 600.
Wow.
That's what I'm feeling. So like the solid state tech they have in there, it's pretty unique and it's pretty new, and there's a lot of R&D costs baked into that.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't know how specific this is going to get, but like coronavirus shit has made manufacturing really complicated and expensive. I don't know if they're going to pass those costs on, but Sony has never been super coy about charging a lot for their high-end electronics. And I don't like everyone tends to think of Sony as this oscillation between being like being too high on their horse and then they get humbled back down to making a good console.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily read that. I think sometimes they don't curtail their tech hunger a little too much.
Oh, interesting.
So like the PS3 is a monster of a machine. It's got like stupid ports in the front. It was HDMI before that was even a thing. I get similar vibes with PS5, that it's super tech forward. I appreciate that they're keeping all that in the box instead of making it sprawl outside of the box. But I do think that they're probably going to charge a premium for that. So I'm thinking $599. Also, if it's all solid state, I mean, solid state drives have gotten way cheaper, but these are not normal solid states.
Right.
So I think that's probably what's going to drive up the cost quite a bit. I do also think that all of the costs of the parts they're using are dropping really fast. So I could see like $599 for all the early adopters, and then within a year they shave $100 off of it or something like that.
I think that
maybe like
that normally happens for every console release, generally. Usually lower.
Holiday 2021, I would say probably $499 with like some kind of either remake bundle or whatever their like forward game is for PS5.
Yeah, Lawrence, that would.
I'm kind of excited.
That would blow my.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just that would blow my mind if they went from 400 to 600, because they released PS4 at 400.
You're right.
I would be like, holy shit, because then Xbox at that point, there's no way they're going to release a $600 machine. It's going to be $500 or lower. So and it's probably going to be 400 is my guess. But
I see more willingness. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done. You go ahead.
I see more willingness in Microsoft to burn cash to buy their way in or back in to the field. So I can see them more willing to take a steeper cut on their console, especially if Sony announces first and they're pretty high end, which is kind of what I expect. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The comparisons to PS4 make me wonder, because the PS4 and the Xbox One, just Xbox One, neither were very tech aggressive when they launched. The PS4 was a really elegant machine, but computationally speaking, it was about in line with it was just a little bit behind gaming PCs. Series X and PS5, by all accounts, are pretty ahead of pretty high-powered gaming PCs right now.
Yeah.
That's going to change pretty soon, once like NVIDIA's 3000 series launches or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do think compared to where most gaming computers are right now, they're quite a bit more aggressive than Xbox One or PS4 were when they launched. So I don't know.
That's a good point.
I'm curious though, especially since I guess the U.S. is officially in a recession now, where we were back in February.
Yep, that's right, we are. People are saying we're probably not going to get the price tomorrow, and I kind of agree. I just like doing these. Price to me is always the most fun thing to predict, because I like to think about a bunch of people in a boardroom being like, this thing costs us $525 to make. Like, when all is said and done, we can't charge $500 for it. We can't lose $25 on every system. And everyone, then they all shout at each other for 4 hours. So I'm sure there are a lot of things we're not thinking about, but truthfully, I think the discussions we have about price, they all do too. I think they all have very similar discussions. So it's really interesting to think as just people versus, businessmen who run multi-billion-dollar conglomerates. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's increasingly I guess the counter argument to myself is that revenue increasingly comes from subscription services, either PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, Xbox Live, Game Pass. That, like, those departments are bringing in crazy amounts of revenue. So I think all companies know the value in having your platform in place to sell subscription services. So that when it comes into like how much money are we willing to take a hit on to get this hardware in people's houses, that equation has also kind of changed in the last generation. Gen 8 sort of really changed where revenue comes from in video games. So it seems more likely than it used to be that companies are willing to take a pretty big hit on selling consoles.
Yeah. It's not going to change anything for me, because it might change the first one, like the one I buy first. But
you're not going to get both of them on day one, Bruce?
I'm going to try, but I don't know if there's going to be any video games that I want to play on day one.
That's irrelevant.
Oh, okay, all right. No, you're right. Criken, you're not much of a console boy. Are you going to buy those both?
Yeah, not at all. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to feel motivated to. I think it was like, oh man, I want to say like 3 years after it launched that I bought a PS4. And even then it like was only to play a couple exclusives, and I rarely use it. So I don't know. I don't feel like I have to, but also if there's a cool exclusive, or if it really is totally different than playing on PC, then sure, I'll give it a go. But yeah, I think I'm more likely to get like a VR headset than I am to get a new console.
That's actually a good
PlayStation VR.
Yeah,
it's all set for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's better than the Index right now. So
yeah.
Spicy Whales asked a good question in your chat, Lawrence. He said, "What's the point of getting an Xbox Series X if all their games are on Windows 10?" Do we know that all of their games are on Windows 10?
Literally, all their first-party games, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's been their big initiative, which I'm grateful for because I don't want to get an Xbox.
if you're playing on Windows 10, you're still playing Xbox. Like,
totally, yeah.
That was Microsoft's rebrand. You play it through the Xbox app. They get to claim you as an active user regardless. So, I don't understand why it took Microsoft this long, but everyone seems to like think that by doing that, they're shooting themselves in the foot. But if you're playing on PC, you might not be giving them the $400 for the Xbox console, but that's, again, not the revenue they want anyway. They want you to sign up for Game Pass. They want you to sign up for Xbox Live. So if they open that to PC, they win. Like, it's just such a weird mindset that like the more bricks in people's homes decides who wins and who loses, but that's not really how the money flows anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
And like Sony moving a bit on PC is pretty cool evidence too, which also, I think, Criken, to your point, means it's probably less valuable to even get a PlayStation at that point. But if there's no point for you, then that's fine. They're not making the Xbox for people who have gaming ready PCs.
Yeah, it's I don't know that I'll like the only reason I'll buy an Xbox is what I use it for now, which is my Netflix machine. So it's my Netflix, my Hulu, it's every other app basically, because I feel like it's probably the best in terms of using those apps, but I'm sure I'll also play games on the Xbox I have before. It's just I very rarely do it. And if they're gonna put out Halo Infinite on PC and Xbox same day, then I'll never ever play Halo Infinite on an Xbox ever in a million years. So it's super cool. I don't know. I always sort of side more with Xbox because I feel like they seem, like you said, Lawrence, they seem to want to be like, hey, we're going to do cross-platform, and hey, we're going to put it on your Windows machine. It's like, we want to make it easier for you because they're going to make money off me for Xbox Live. Whereas Sony's like, no, we still got a few games. You have to turn it on a console and pick up a controller and play Last of Us Part 2 or something. So I'm like, okay, All right. I guess I'll do it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I really, it's just the classic. Increasingly, it's purely that I just want that rush, that childhood glee of dropping a really expensive cardboard box into my living room and opening it up and pulling all the shrink wrap off and putting batteries in the controller, although that doesn't really happen anymore. Pulling it in, like going through the setup process, picking my region, setting the time, like that. It's almost ritualistic.
Yeah.
Every 5 years, get to kind of let your mind buzz about the possibilities of video games. I think, those milestones are not going to appear anymore because of platform abstraction. The stuff we're seeing with Microsoft being on Windows, and even Sony starting to tiptoe into Windows, or PlayStation Now being accessible via desktops. Yeah, it's just going to be a brand. There won't be any boxes anymore, aside from the one you build or a pre-built something.
Speaking of,
boxes so much, get the Nintendo Labo.
Oh,
I did.
Labo. What'd you call it? Labo? I was like,
hold on.
Nintendo Labo? What do you mean, like?
I have to go get the actual true controller.
Did you ever buy the Labo, Criken?
No.
It was terrible. It was
Really?
Oh.
I mean, I thought it was like a toy.
I mean, it is.
It is a toy, right?
It was for it had some novel uses, but also I was really high when I used it. So it was, it was kind of dumb. I was going to ask you, Criken, actually. I know more to your point.
Well,
there it is.
hold on.
Oh, you have a
A little
backpack?
spider web on it. Oh. All right.
Look at that.
That's crazy. Have you ever once used the backpack?
No, I just built it because that was the fun part. I bet it actually probably would be fun to. Hold on.
What do you do with it, Lawrence? Why is
Strap this old guy
Is
on.
it just a backpack?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. It makes you a robot. Where the? Hold on. Gotta find that other strap. That's back there. Here we go.
What do you?
It's a little tight.
That's because it's for a
There we
kid. What is that? What are those things?
There's
What?
So it's actually pretty cool. Oh, these are supposed to go around my feet.
So for people who
So
are
there's,
people who are listening on audio listeners, Lawrence has put on a cardboard backpack.
Yeah, it's very cool. Why is this one so much? Oh, because it's not wrapped. So it's actually, the engineering of it is pretty cool. And as a toy or as a video game even, I really respect Labo for basically like trying to teach kids about engineering. But on the inside of the backpack, there are these little strings that go to slides that have reflective tape on them. And then you put the like infrared Joy-Con in the back of the backpack. There's a little spout for it on the back. And it basically looks at all of the tape sliding up and down to see if your arms and legs are articulating.
Oh my
It's pretty
gosh,
sick.
that's ridiculous.
It took like 3 hours to build. And I think I did it incredibly drunk.
It looks like you have everybody that builds anything Labo related is either high or drunk.
Yeah, why would you do it so
Or a
much?
child.
Or a baby. Yeah, that's true.
That's basically the epitome of being high and drunk at the same time all the
It
time.
looks like you're housing like a pet in there because it's got like air holes
Yeah.
in your box, like you're carrying a cat or something.
I guess you could. I don't see why not.
Man,
I need to
I
actually play this.
want to meet
Why
like a
haven't I
kid
done
walking to elementary school with that thing. I bet he's the coolest kid in town.
I bet
It's
his backpack gets ripped off and shredded by every other kid. Because I mean, you know how easy it is to beat that kid up because you know you can punch right through cardboard.
It's also kind
It's like a
probably would
turtle
be-
shell. Isn't there like? Is there no electronics on the inside? Is it all just?
No,
like,
it's 100% cardboard and string. The electronics are the two Joy-Con you put into it, and then that
so
Nintendo uses that to kind of read inputs for the game.
they beat him up and they rip out the Joy-Cons and they sell them on the black market for like $20 each.
Also, somebody Kitsune said, "Wait until it starts to rain, kid." That's a good point.
I was gonna say, yeah,
That's a good point.
It rains and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta buy another Labo."
These are expensive too.
They are really expensive. So, speaking of
Try that PlayStation 5.
speaking of consoles that are basically PCs, Criken, are you going to buy the 3080 when it comes out?
What is this?
The
What
new
is that?
Nvidia video card. Come on.
Oh, I need to just buy a whole new computer.
Yeah.
Honestly, mine's working fine for now, but like I need to get with the times, bro. So like, I don't know. I've had this one for like I think 3 years, so I'm around time due for an update. I guess I'll use this as the opportunity. When is the launch of this new thingy that you're talking about?
Supposedly August. New thingy.
I don't stay in the news as you guys do, right? You guys get your little your little husband bulges over the new consoles coming out, and oh, we got a new tech thingy coming out.
Yeah.
I respond to cold hard creative entertainment. If I see a trailer for something that I think looks good, then maybe my husband bulges.
Wait, so you need to see a trailer for the NVIDIA 3080? I'm sure they have one.
No, I'm saying I don't care about little tech who's a what's its. I care about cold hard world building.
World building. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm really trying to figure it out.
He's on
so
3 hours
tired.
of sleep.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't get much sleep.
Allow me to interpret. Criken, you care about games that can immerse you in amazing worlds and have unique experiences. And tessellation and AI generated who's that doesn't matter if the game doesn't have a good experience.
Sure, yeah.
All right.
On the other hand, I like it. I mean, it's cool to imagine the potential with stuff like like real-time ray tracing and like all that sort of stuff. Like I get that appeal for developers. It's just that like I don't know. I see it's hard for me to get really excited about the launch of a new graphics card because I don't think of
I figured it out, Criken. I figured out how to
practical use for it right away.
I figured out how to translate. Imagine if you could fire up Bannerlord and have a 1,000 person army, but no lag. That's what the NVIDIA 3080 is. All right? Does that help you?
Wow. Now that you put it in terms I can understand, Bruce, I'm so excited for this new release. And you bet I'm going to wait in line.
Wait in line?
My local NVIDIA store.
Nobody waits in line.
Until I can pick it up.
Lawrence, are you looking forward to that? This is like the first time I'm actually looking forward to a video card release. I don't know why. For some reason, I am. I don't know why.
I am. Yeah, I played a couple of games with ray tracing, and it's like, it looks cool, and I love it. But yeah, the frame rate can get below 60, which is stupid. It's trash. I don't need that. Not in my PC. No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's 144 or bust, or I'm setting the thing on fire. So yeah, I'm kind of ready for it. I think the thing is like it's not really for what's out right now. It's what's going like what the multiplats on the next generation consoles are going to be. Mm-hmm. And if those consoles have hardware support for all these features, but your computer doesn't, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of, I guess, what was it? Fancy tingles or whatever Criken called them. You're going to have to turn all those off. And you can bury me next to graphical sliders that aren't turned all the way up. No. That's not why I play video games. No, thank you.
Lawrence, you would be ashamed. You would be ashamed because I've had a 1080 Ti for the last 3 years actually, and I have never been able to play a game with ray tracing on. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to say that out loud. I'm ashamed because I knew Lawrence would make that sound, and I feel like Criken would think less of me. Even though I don't
think I have the same thing as you do, to be honest.
Well, never mind.
I also have 1080 Ti.
So obviously,
yeah,
so Lawrence is the superior man, as indicated by his cardboard backpack.
Here's all going weird. You guys want, like, Cyberpunk is going to have ray tracing in it. Shouldn't that? That's it. That's checkmate, right? We all have to buy $1,500 video cards.
That's why I'm doing it.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. I'm buying that 3080 for sure.
Oh.
What?
Okay. I didn't know any of this, so I have to get a new video card to enjoy the game coming out soon.
Damn it!
Yes.
All right, time for an impromptu Cyberwatch. Criken. Cyberpunk is going to support ray tracing. Don't you want to see like the entire world reflecting off Keanu's sunglasses, or do you want screen space reflection like a goddamn caveman?
Don't you want?
No, you're right.
Don't you want to customize your character's genitals with ray tracing on so that every ray of light hits the shaft exactly right?
I
Let me paint a picture
I do
for
like
you.
me a well-lit shaft.
I knew you did.
And this picture will be easy to paint given how warm it is today. You're in the character creator. There's a shaft slider, and of course, you just slam that all the way to the right. And then it's also warm in the character creator, so one tiny drip of sweat rolls down that shaft and onto the balls. But perfectly refracted, light bent through that drip of water, Keanu Reeves' face. but you wouldn't see it if you didn't have the computational power to do it.
That's right.
Also, I think, do things flip horizontally or vertically when they go through water like that?
I thought it was.
Anyway.
I think it's vertically. I could be wrong though.
I'm sure that's the case. I'm absolutely sure. So yes, do you want to see upside down Keanu Reeves or not? Through a sweat drip on your cyber character Cyberballs.
My favorite part of this whole thing that we've come up with is the fact that none of us are going to make a woman, even though we're all straight men. So we're all going to make a man.
We're all just be staring at sweaty balls.
Yeah, with giant penises and balls being like, yeah. That's about right. That's about right for us.
That's not how refraction works. It just bends. Well, maybe it's cyber water, and maybe it does different stuff.
Yeah, you can't tell me how future ball sweat does.
No, you can't.
All right, Twitch chat, because you don't know. It's all theory at this point.
Stop trying to backseat a video game that's not out yet. You can't do that. It's impossible. Hey, Lawrence, when does Cyberpunk come out? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, they announced a date. I don't.
September.
Unfortunately, we're under 100 days now. We hit like 99 days a while ago, and I threw a little mini party in my head.
Oh, September 7th.
September 17th.
I have to make sure that my new computer is ordered. I know this, by the way, these are ridiculous. These are not problems that I'm talking about currently. I'm just talking about things that I'm excited about. I'm trying to, there's something to look forward to that isn't like a quarantine or a riot. So that's why I'm like, hey, anything else to get me excited about what's happening outside of our United States, and the world generally.
Yeah.
No.
PS5. There's PC gamer shows on Friday or Saturday. So there's that.
Oh, is that happening?
Yeah. There's a ton of scattered like press shows coming up. There's a couple of game blogs that have like complete lists, updated lists about when people have announced times, but everyone has like a PR thing hanging in the air that hasn't really been nailed down to a date yet.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Again, this is when E3 was supposed to be happening, so yeah, we're gonna. Oh, Baldur's Gate 3 is this Saturday? Hell yeah!
Ooh, I'm excited for that one.
Is that just?
Oh yeah, the
one-
Mafia
that one
remake
will
on
get
PC.
me.
Yeah.
That's just a game demo, I assume, right? Because of the PC gaming show. Is that correct?
Yeah, it'll be a demo.
Criken, when does Baldur's Gate come out? Do you know?
I don't know if they've announced that yet.
Oh, they haven't. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure.
Oh wait, they have. I don't remember. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I assume that these are the things that you guys are experts about: Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate. So
I may have been told this because I went to their press demo in San Francisco at the start of the year, and then the world went to hell, and everything from that point on I have forgotten.
Yeah.
So
That's right. GDC was supposed to happen.
yeah, GDC was supposed to have it because you were supposed to go, Lawrence.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Steph.
Yeah.
It was gonna be awesome. I was gonna get to hang out with the CDPR crew and slip them cocktails until they started feeding me those cyber secrets. I know the tricks of the trade.
That's
Still
when-
a game journalist.
That's actually, Lawrence, that was the time that you were going to befriend yourself to CDPR, and then you're going to be in the game.
Yep, that was the goal. Pockets stuffed full of headshots. Every time I go to like whip out a tip, boom, headshot on the floor. What's that? Oh, that's weird. That's me wearing cyber goggles. Oh, that's weird. Huh? Maybe that would fit right in with some kind of dark future tale. Well, hey,
Dark
you know what?
future
I don't need that one.
If there's
Tomaz, if you want to go ahead and pick that one up, I mean, if you want to leave it there for trash, maybe you can do that. But you might want to just tuck that into your pocket. Here, let me do it for you. There we go.
if there's one thing the
Along
quarantine,
with a little USB drive.
he's rehearsed this. It's very good.
he has. The quarantine has taken away so many things, but it took away the fact that Lawrence Sontag could have been in Cyberpunk 2077. Wow.
Well, if their character creator is good enough, then you can just make, a really authentic Lawrence Sontag as the protagonist, and then, they even have the genital slider. You can slide away to the left, and it's like almost got the real thing right there.
Yeah, where it's inverted.
Wait, if you slide it to the left, that would make it smaller, right?
Yeah, that was.
You were making fun of Lawrence's penis?
I was.
I thought
know,
for
it was a low
sure.
blow.
Here's the thing. I assume so much good about you, Criken, that when you said slide it to the left, I was like, my brain turned it into slide it to the right because I was like, oh, he'll talk about how big Lawrence's penis is. But instead, he talked about how small Lawrence's penis is.
Look, it seemed like an easy joke.
It was.
And I went for the easy one
You did.
rather than the backhanded compliment. So I want to apologize first to you, Lawrence. You didn't deserve that. And I want to apologize to Bruce.
Okay.
I'm sorry you saw that, and I want to apologize to everyone listening. That's not how I feel about my friend Lawrence. I've seen his penis. It's very active.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, it's just the mountainous and some have said freakish amount of pubic hair makes it seem average.
Yuck.
But
Yeah.
there's at least I want to say a half inch that gets lost down there. So at least give me credit.
That's what we all say. We all say that if we if we shaved, it'd be like 4 inches longer. So just remember that.
That's how it works.
If we shaved it all, it'd just. So that's what you're saying to somebody. Hey, if I cut the hair off, it'd be longer. It's actually not true.
Is there going to be a slider for pubic hair thickness?
There
length?
better be.
Yeah.
Or else I'm returning the video game.
Ooh.
The Blockbuster.
Pubic hair straightness. What if there's a way you could straighten it? You know, like a little iron. Yeah.
Just a middle part right down the middle, so your dick looks wise.
I'm having a really hard time picturing that.
Do you think there?
But only if you get a 3000 level NVIDIA card.
Well, yeah.
You can't render that hair otherwise.
Do you think what's the name of that? There's a piece that connects the shaft to the head. It has a name. It's like the perineum.
The
No, not the. It's not the perineum. The perineum's a taint. It's the it starts with a P. But no, is it the frenulum? It might be the frenulum. If it's the frenulum, I hope that there is a frenulum. Don't look it up. Yeah, don't look it up, dude.
I just looked up glands, and like the first thing that came up was a like infected dick.
No, dude.
Whoa! They can get like bumps.
I don't.
If it's the frenulum, I want to be able to customize my frenulum. That's what I want to.
Why are there so many diseased penises?
Well, nice topic change. You guys are all my friendulums, so let's move on to the next.
That's not. Yeah, you didn't topic change at all. You just said let's change the subject.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about?
Someone else do that.
This has got to say something about the human race. That if you Google anything about a woman, you get very nice looking naked women. If you Google anything about a man, you get some dude with a nail through his dick. That's weird. Miss Andrea is real, and I just saw it.
Criken, what do you want to talk about? You pick.
Let's talk about the new inner city.
No, you can't do that.
Vertrek Van
You're just
Station
You're reading something off Reddit. That's cheating.
Okay.
Yeah. The Netherlands, damn it. Let's all move to Denmark, huh?
I'd like that. It seemed like they got their shit together.
Let's go to Amsterdam. Let's drink some coffee and eat some mushrooms and just hang out. Look at some flowers. Damn it.
I would love to do that.
I miss flowers. You guys remember flowers?
I remember flowers. I'm looking at some right now, actually. They look great. But I can't get too close to them or else I might give it corona.
Those damn flowers. Who knows who's sniffing?
Yeah, who's been kissing them? Criken, what's been going on?
Oh, I have something to talk about. So, I mean, I just literally, you scrolled past The Mandalorian on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I heard The Mandalorian finished filming and is, on its way out of post in time for the next season release. But many other series I don't think have been that lucky since the lockdown and quarantine.
That's right.
What do you guys feel about the incoming dry period that will surely start of a bunch of media that has been pretty steadily releasing until now?
I got to see Ultimate Tag, which is a reality show that was very, very clearly backburnered. But I was just scrolling through Hulu and it's like new shows. So yeah, I got to see a bunch of people play tag. That's it. To me, that's going to represent the next 9 months is a bunch of just like reality shows of like sub $1 million budgets that networks optioned and never released because they weren't good, and then now are just like, well, we got nothing new, so let's start letting this out. I'm kind of excited to see the cutting room floor of content. Plus, there's so much stuff already in the world.
There's so much stuff. That's the thing, is that like even if there's a dry period, I could be like, hey, I never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is what I'm doing now. So it's like, I'll watch that, or like, hey, I never watched fucking Ozark, even though I did. I'll watch that. Like, I haven't consumed all media in the world, so I feel like I'll be okay for the next, because there's probably gonna be about 6 months of dry period. I think you're right, Criken.
Yeah. It's true. There's plenty of stuff in the backlog to catch up on. I'm curious on the release cycle of what's going to happen, for for what's coming up in the future because sorry, I'm having hypnotized by what's happening on the screen.
There's a man who is dropping really hot moves next to a pool.
He is hitting it hard. Man,
Yeah.
he looks great.
It's really good.
Here's the thing.
There's such violence in his moves too.
It really is. There's kids here too. It's a family pool.
I wonder if this was, because I think this was probably, I'm going to venture a guess and say this was after quarantine. And so then this is probably like his first or second time out. And he's like, fuck, yes. Like, I am out here. And this is what I do now. I dance next to everybody because I could be next to them. So
Yeah.
that's what it seems like.
That's accurate.
I gotta work on my out of quarantine body. I'm getting there. I'm making some gains, but I want when this pod opens, when the seal is broken and I can wander outside, I want to do it wearing less than this gentleman and looking even better. I want to come out ready.
He's wearing a Speedo, Lawrence. I don't know how you wear less than that.
Sock and a couple of strips of tape.
Ew.
Yeah. Ready for the pool.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, nothing except my Labo backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy,
You should do a photo
I
shoot.
can.
leaves a lot to the imagination.
You should do a boudoir photo shoot with just you in that Labo backpack.
Yeah, I'm sure Nintendo would love that.
Well, yeah, I didn't say it was for Nintendo. It's for your girlfriend, but
No, they're gonna pay me. They're gonna pay me for
all
that.
right, well, never mind.
I don't do anything without getting paid for it
Lawrence CCs all of his nudes to Nintendo because he also emails them apparently.
anymore. Yep. I email them to Stephanie and I CC Nintendo. Nintendo at
Yeah.
Nintendo.com.
I bet
One day they'll reply.
I bet that works. So I bet somebody gets those.
Well, they don't get bounced, so it's going somewhere.
They don't get bounced.
Criken, are you worried about the dry period coming up?
Not necessarily. I just thought it'd be interesting because there's a lot of shows that everyone's like eagerly waiting to come back. I don't think there's like, I mean, I don't know, because Game of Thrones was that way. It was like if that got delayed, everyone would freak out.
Oh, yeah, but-
I don't know if there's anything to that degree that's currently going on that is going to cause anxiety from people. But yeah, I mean I'm a big watcher of Netflix and all the other streaming whatever's who's it what's it's.
What have you been watching?
Well, I'm watching Avatar. I've loved it. It is quickly becoming one of my favorite TV shows.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm in season 3 now, so it's getting to the good. It's getting to the good.
Have you seen it before?
But no, I actually watched all of Korra, and the odd episode maybe when it was on Nickelodeon when I was a kid, but never to this degree, and I wish I had. That thing was the world building is incredible and the writing is so good. I'm loving it.
Lawrence, have you seen it?
I watched it when it was coming out, but dropped off around somewhere through book 2.
Oh, okay.
Just because I wasn't I had to buy the DVDs at Best Buy, and for some reason life events just kind of drifted away from it. So I need to go back to it now that it's
normal.
instantly accessible.
Yeah. Somebody tweeted me, and it made me feel really bad. They tweeted me because I tweeted about Avatar. And I was like, hey, I'm watching it. I love it. And they were like, bro, how did you not watch this when it was on? And I was like 25, man. I didn't. There was probably no way to see it, unless was it on Cartoon Network or something? Was it?
It was on Nickelodeon.
Oh, it was on Nickelodeon. Yeah, I watched Nickelodeon up until I was like 11, and then after that I stopped. So I probably just didn't catch it at that time. I wish it's great now that I can watch it just like on Netflix where it's incredibly accessible and I can watch all of it all at once. But back then I just couldn't. So.
Yeah, it's a shame that people feel the need to gatekeep fandom of this thing.
Why? Yeah, I don't get it.
Because I guess it's just they see themselves as the true fans, and then to see new people coming from Netflix, to them that's wow, you didn't have to wait every 3 weeks for the next episode, so it's not the same.
No,
It's
I see, yeah.
Okay, well, it is the same. It's the same story. It's just we get it faster.
Yeah.
Well, slight possible perspective. Maybe if more people had watched it when it was on and active, it would have gotten more resources or more seasons.
Totally.
Or something.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't know if they necessarily wanted more seasons though. I think it was meant for 3, and that's what it delivered on. I think. I don't quote me, but yeah, I guess more resources would have been probably appreciated. But it holds up well. I mean, I don't really, when watching it, there isn't a whole lot that I see that I'm like, man, that needed a whole lot more money, or oh, it's a shame that it. Sorry, Reddit is it's very hard for me to watch Reddit right now when I'm this sleep deprived. It's like completely ruining.
What did you see? The butt crack?
Is it like 3D?
Yeah, it's the butt crack of Carl Weezer.
Yeah.
And
Wait, you knew the butt crack?
He knew this butt crack.
What?
He knew this one right here.
Nice.
It was Carl Weezer.
Oh, I haven't seen Jimmy Neutron. I don't know. Criken, here's your chance to feel what it's like on the other side of the fence. I've never seen Jimmy Neutron, Criken.
You're
gatekeeping
Lawrence right now. How dare you?
I mean, I'm inviting him to. I want him to because I want you to feel the joy, the rush.
I'm not going to take the bait. I think there's plenty of time for you to become a Jimmy Neutron fan. Although I would say all of the jokes potentially are outdated and will not hit as well. Carl's got a fun voice though, so there's that.
Well, I've watched more trash in my life, so
it's not really a resounding endorsement of Jimmy Neutron.
It isn't, because I don't think anyone would endorse Jimmy Neutron that strongly.
I have a related question. Given the how could you not watch that when it's coming out kind of thing, how do you guys feel about the trying to think of how to phrase this, the sort of implied pressure to be current or to binge things when they come out, so you can to me the phrase is always be part of the conversation, to throw out your opinions or your takes or whatever. Holy crap, this lady's making a monster ice cream cone.
Nice.
That makes me proud to be an American right there. Hey, there hasn't been a lot lately, so I got to grab the good stuff.
That's true. You're right.
But yeah, I used to kind of feel that push to sort of be a part of the opinion flow. Kind of speaking very personally, I used to feel this need to be validated for my opinions or my takes or my analysis of media. And that only really happens when you're watching something that's current, because nobody cares about your opinions about a movie that's 60 years old. But the older I get, the more I realize I don't kind of care to enter that discussion sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I like kind of watching media on my own terms and thinking about it, whatever I'm going to think about, and then maybe Googling and kind of reading about it, about the creators or what they were going through. But the whole online discourse thing, I just don't feel a lot of push to be a part of it. And and whenever somebody's like, how could you have waited years and years? To me, and I assume there's multiple ways to talk about it, but to me it's more like there was a discussion happening and we could have used your enthusiasm in this the whole time, or this is something that I wanted to share with you this whole time. So I don't know.
Lawrence, that's actually exactly what I was going to say. So for me, whenever I was watching things week to week, I get really excited when somebody else is watching it week to week, because then I can be like, oh my gosh, we can talk about it. Because I don't like going online and reading different opinions. I'll do it, but I don't like doing it because generally there's so much negativity and gatekeeping and that kind of shit that I'm just I got to wade through it to actually read real theories and people that are excited about it. Whereas if you're talking to somebody else, generally you don't, somebody's not just shitting on you and your opinion when you're having a good conversation about something, usually. So that's why I enjoy watching stuff week to week, because then I can be like, oh my gosh, what about this? What about this? And I can't believe this, and I'm not sure about this. And then we have an actual fun conversation. We get to relate to each other about something versus no conversation at all and just reading it on the internet. So I think that's the other side of what you were describing, because you were like, yeah, it's. I feel like you had some bad experiences talking to people, which sucks. So hopefully,
me?
Yeah, you. Hopefully, you didn't.
Maybe. I think it's more the cycle of this new thing being the best thing ever. It's just the polarity of it, and it's really tempting to get in there and fight. And I say fight to mix it up. But then I don't know. After a few times, it just when you've gone the rounds with somebody about why this movie is good or bad, I feel like I still walk away from it with the same take that I had before.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, and also I think this is part of that we're all exposed to so many different individuals, all with their own opinions, and some much more opinionated and vocal than others every day. So we have kind of we experience the extreme side of it. but in my experience, whenever I feel any opinion, there's always going to be someone out there, at least when it's about like a movie or a game or whatever, that has a much stronger opinion and has infinitely more time and energy to argue that opinion than I do. So, like, I can express my opinion and then they can disagree with me, but like, they would just keep coming back, and I'm like, I don't really. You get one reply, and then I'm like, done. I don't really feel the need to do anymore. So,
yeah, that's about right. There's no need to like fight about things when it comes to like creative content. Generally, it's like it's okay that you like. What I mean is like a person-to-person conversation. If you're just hanging out with a friend and like all of a sudden you guys disagree about something, it's like, you're not going to sit there and shout at each other for an hour about it. Like, it's just better to be like, oh, you see it this way. Oh, I see it this way. No big deal. And then you move on. I think I see what you're getting at, Criken. But I'm sure that I've had those conversations early on in life where, like, you guys disagree and you're like, fuck, because it feels bad because somebody doesn't see it the way you see it, and then you don't have that tribalism. Now you do. Because you can have that any time you want on the internet. So if somebody disagrees with you in real life, you could go online and find 100 other people that probably agree with you.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about it.
Can we scroll past the scary bird?
What do you, this is nature,
gobbling
bro.
Up a rabbit hole.
Yeah, but it's nature.
I don't consider seagulls part of nature. They're genetically modified.
This is not a seagull. It's a great black-backed gull. Swallowing.
That's a gull. And it's a gull of the sea.
It's swallowing a rabbit hole. And Criken, I'm exposing you to this because this is nature. This is what happens.
I already watched it twice.
This is what happens in nature.
Look, I've seen seagulls grab a pizza out of someone's hand and swallow it whole. Okay, seagulls are monsters.
They're not carnivores. They're omnivores. They'll eat anything. They're dumpsters.
They'll eat trash. Yeah. They'll eat you.
They're dumpsters. They'll eat whatever they want.
If you're small enough, they'll eat you.
All right, well, I scrolled past it. There you go. Now you don't have to worry about it.
Yay, Fortnite. Scroll up. Fortnite.
Yeah, Criken, how old are you?
I wonder.
Did you guys see the images of this? The Super Nintendo World going up?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that looks so good.
I thought this was a GIF. It should be animating, but these coins should be spinning.
That's really cool.
I don't know why.
Shiny? I bet they're shiny.
Where is this located?
Universal Japan?
Yeah, Universal Japan, yeah.
Oh, man.
Which just reopened. It was actually a pretty cool video going through the park showing about their social distancing stuff and how they're laying out the park to allow people in.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's funny because, like, as much as I like Universal, okay, I like Disneyland just because of, like, the park's just really nice and it's really well executed and really well planned. There's a lot of good engineering there. And then, they kind of, all the cast members, like, they're all really happy. And it is nice to, even if everyone's getting paid and even if it's manufactured, it is nice to go to a place that's clean and has happy music and everyone looks you in the eyes and smiles. Like, those things are nice, and you just don't get those at 7-Eleven, convenience store, for anyone that doesn't know what that is. But, like, I don't have that, like, emotional connection with Disney that a lot of people do.
Me either, yeah.
I grew up liking their... Yeah, okay. I grew up liking their movies okay, but it's not like any Disney score is gonna just, like, really punch through my heart. That said, I do have that for, like, Nintendo, and I'm curious if I ever get to go to that park, if I'll suddenly get reduced to, like, a blubbering, like, a blubbering pile of emotions, or if I'll just walk in and be like, hey, there's Mario. That's cool. Like, I'm really fascinated how I'll react to that, because I've never had that feeling.
I also think it's a bit different from a video game franchise that's been around forever, and you can always, like, is always accessible. You can always, load up the latest, Red Plumber game and bust through a couple green pipes and throw a little cappy hat and possess some poor dude. Like, that stuff's always at your fingertips versus, like, a Disney movie. Well, first of all, Disney is a brand that attacks your consciousness when you're a child and, like, gets in early.
Attacks.
And gets that first magical moment of realizing that, the value of friendship. And then you always associate that with that one movie. And then when you go and you see, friend bot from the Disney Channel and he's there, you're like, now it all makes sense. It's full circle. This is the guy that taught me how to be friends, and I'm here with my friends. And then you start crying. But Mario has always been around, and that little stinker hasn't taught us anything but, how to stomp on Goombas and take coins.
That's not true.
So I don't think it's going to be the same emotional response.
There had to have been a moral lesson learned in the Super Mario Brothers movie, starring Bob Hoskins, and
Only thing that thing taught was me how to do the Mario, pal.
That's the show, Criken. God damn it. The movie taught you the power of belief.
Yeah, it taught you the power of
And
belief.
that-
Yes, that's right.
Love trumps all because the king got into all the
like a
mushrooms.
switch.
Yeah, I know. I
I just can't stand how people misrepresent the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Criken's
It's not fair.
Criken's got a good point though. Mario doesn't teach you anything.
I disagree.
What does he? I guess he teaches you to never give up.
So there's no narrative in most Mario games beyond like the princess is in trouble or Mario's in jail, like whatever. But I think unlike movies which tell you a narrative, you can read a lot into Mario's aesthetic, into like his design, and into the world itself. Mario as a series has a weird number of design tenets. One is bizarrely that it's like strangely connected to Western swing music. And the music of Mario is absolutely incredible.
It is, yeah.
It teaches Mario as a character has like Mickey Mouse shades to him. He's always relentlessly positive. The most you ever like see him ever express is just like being tired, but he's never mad.
That's true.
He's never
Yeah.
angry.
He's never frustrated.
He never attacks.
I've seen those eyebrows arch. When Bowser steals Peach away, he goes, that's anger. He's an angry
I don't know
little
if
fiery character.
That's not anger though. He doesn't like yell at people or like, he doesn't break shit unless he needs to.
Blocks
disagreed.
and things.
He does.
Unless he needs to. If you're playing through any Mario game, are you telling me you specifically only hit the blocks that you need to and you avoid all the others just in case you
Criken,
want to do more property damage?
I've got some good news for you. I'm not Mario. I control Mario, but let's say if Mario
That makes you Mario.
If Mario controlled himself, would he break every block that he?
If Mario controlled himself, he would go, I'm tired, and he would sit down and not do anything.
Oh,
I've tried it.
He's got a point.
I mean, he has a point, but
Yeah,
we're
Mario
talking
64.
we're talking about a video game, though. And let's talk about Mario as an actual character, even though it's really impossible to because he has no defining characteristics whatsoever.
Exactly. He is a puppet that is played by the master, which is you at your little, with your little joystick. So I don't think... I forget what my point was.
I think you guys aren't giving enough creative direction or enough credit to the creative direction of the Mario series. Again, like Mario is not a narrative character. He's kind of a representation. And I think you can justifiably read a lot into his body language, his animation. If you want to go into Disney territory, like the squish and stretch stuff they do with Mario, and in most of the Mario titles, is really good. And there's a reason that like Nintendo's stewardship of Mario and all their properties are certainly a really, really good one, or has been really good. But I think you can draw a lot of parallels between Nintendo and Disney, both in the way that they've grown as businesses, and the way they steward their icons, and then also in the creative spirit behind what they create.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Mario games are relentlessly positive, relentlessly colorful, relentlessly uplifting. There's just no bad vibes in basically any Mario game, and that doesn't happen by accident. So that's kind of what I credit Mario as a property with, even though it's been applied to basically every possible game type ever. And in some games, and this is going a little too deep, but they do, like the Paper Mario games and the RPGs do put a little more flavor on Mario, namely that like he is, a kind of it's kind of a workhorse. Anything that goes wrong, he has to go and fix, and he does it without complaining, and he does it without like blaming anyone, and everyone just kind of grows to rely on that being there. There's some very slight commentary there, but
Lawrence,
don't know.
I would definitely agree with your analogy comparing Disney and Nintendo, because they definitely have been doing the same things for a very long time, and they're really good at it. They're really good at stewarding their own identity. Another company that does that really well is Apple. Apple doesn't really have like a character or whatever, but they do have a philosophy
it's Justin Long.
that they where?
Justin Long, you don't remember? The personification of Apple in the mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, versus
Way too deep of a cut.
versus what's
Never
his
mind.
name? John Hodgkins.
I'm a PC and I am a Mac. That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
But Apple just does a really good job of like, it's a cult. You buy into the Disney, you buy into the Nintendo, you buy into the. It's a cult. It totally is. They're really good at that. They're really, really good at making it feel like you're not just buying a product, but you're like you're buying into an identity, which is really it's really interesting, and like it basically becomes part of you, and that's like it's to a lesser extent Star Wars is that for me, but it's not. But Star Wars never felt like an entity that I was buying into, even though, and see that actually, honestly, that's probably the best reflection of it. It never felt like I was giving Star Wars money. It never felt like I was like, fuck, I gotta give Star Wars another $60 or whatever. Up until recently, by the way. But it didn't used to feel like that. I would just buy the books and watch the movies and do all that shit. But that was because I had to, because I loved it so much. It's the same with Apple, same with Nintendo, same with Disney. You don't even realize that you're contributing to a company until you get old. And then you go, oh shit, fuck. I'm giving them, tens of thousands of dollars. So that's I guess that's good business. That's good business.
Yeah, I guess to me the difference is I'm okay with products being made to be sold. People, a ton of people, especially in the Southern California area, get really bent out of shape whenever Disney will change or alter its park pricing. The rationale commonly thrown around is that children deserve that experience, and that by raising prices or whatever, Disney is actively denying kids that joy or whatever. So that is an interesting argument to make. To me, the dividing line is when a product is not only made to be sold, but made to sell more products around and after. And I never got that sense with Nintendo's hardware or games. Some of them, maybe, you could argue, like in the Wii days, there were a lot of peripherals that were kind of being thrown around, but like when, I don't know, I don't want to go there again, but like Kingdom Hearts, they split up their story across multiple products so that when they get you invested, you kind of have to go somewhere else and spend more money to get any kind of satisfaction.
Yep.
And then Bruce, I don't know, with your adventures in the Star Wars EU, did you get that feeling? Because the movies themselves, to me at least, were pretty self-contained, and then it was like, well, I want more. Okay, well, we're not making more movies, but here's a ton of books. I don't know if the books themselves started pulling that stuff, where they started referencing other books and requiring you to do all this side reading to catch up. But.
No, because nobody gave a shit about those books when they were out. So it's like they were just writing stories, which honestly is the best way to do it, because it's it was just somebody's creativity at that point. So it's like if they could write a good story, then it was a good story. It wasn't the fact that like Disney hadn't gotten a hold of it yet, or any other large company, and was like, we're going to monetize this audience so hard. It wasn't like that at all. It was just like, we're writing cool stories. And it felt like that way with Star Wars up until, the prequels didn't even feel like I was getting monetized. It just felt like people were trying to make movies, which I thought was fine.
Iceland has a good point. The prequels seemed like they were made to sell toys with all the droids and.
Well, everybody said that. I
wonder if it's
people have been saying that about Star Wars since 1977. So,
like Ewoks and
yeah, like they're like, oh, those movies are made to sell toys. Sure, okay, if they're good, it doesn't matter. And I'd say the same about Marvel and Disney to a certain extent. It's always like well, these are just made to get people in the seats, and these are just made to blah blah blah. If it's good. What does it matter? If you enjoy it, well then fucking enjoy it. But if you're like, well, it's made to sell toys, then don't contribute to it. That's easy. That's an easy one. Don't buy the toys. I didn't. So I didn't buy the Star Wars toys.
Here's a weird theoretical. I keep going to weird places, but I'm going to do it. Do you think there will come a point in the future where commodified entertainment products or advertising gets so effective that to me it's almost like the free-to-play game problem of like, if I start playing this and then I like it, I already know that I'm going to be put in like a temptation area where I'm going to want to spend money on additional things. And your thinking brain can know, especially with like free-to-play games, that there's never going to be a point of satisfaction. You're never going to beat it. And you know that it exists for this purpose. And it can still be fun. But I understand that like hesitation of not trusting yourself. Of like, oh boy, if I watch this Star Wars movie, I can feel that I'm going to like it. And then I'm going to end up with a room full of toys before I wake up. And it'll be 20 years later and I've devoted my life to an entertainment property. I can feel that about myself sometimes, where it's like there's something that I would like, but I can tell it's attached to this whole other thing, and then I just, for the sake of my wallet and also my free time, I'm like, sometimes I like deprive myself of things I know I'd like because I know that I'll probably go too hard into it. I don't know if you guys ever have that experience.
Criken, what about you? What about you?
Yeah, I guess so. I never really like got into watching anime, and like I know there's like the whole kind of societal, I guess, stigma around it, or like the kind of preconception of being like a weeb. And I think from what I've heard of specific series that I would have like really enjoyed it, but I also had a lot of other stuff to do, so I didn't really feel like this gaping hole of what I could get into. But I did get the impression that like if I really wanted to get into it, I would get like really it was a deep dark hole. So
yeah,
I guess now that a lot of them are on Netflix, I've like started to slowly watch a couple, but I think I missed the intense fandom ages of my earlier years.
That makes sense.
I say that like I'm an old man. I still feel like one, I
Your
guess.
early years. It was the same with me in World of Warcraft when that came out. I was like, that was the closest I ever felt to like, I was like, oh shit, like I'm 100% addicted to this, and if I dove into this, I would lose my job, and I'd lose like relationships and stuff like that. And I very well could have. I could have just been like, all right, I'm committing full time to this, and then like figuring out how to justify it to myself, but I just never did. I got lucky in the sense that I was born without an addicted personality, so I don't get addicted to things. But I was able to know that product was designed for me to do that, for me to just only spend my time doing that, and I was able to resist it. But not everybody is. So, yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of age and changing perception, I feel increasingly alarmed that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but for some reason it concerns me more the older I get, that so much of like our discussions and our cultural perceptions are based around the media we consume. It's not a bad thing, but I have lately been trying to be like, well, maybe this evening I'll do something other than watch a show that's in my backlog just so I can talk about it with people. Because I feel like often that's what it is too, is what I ingest is based on the priority of people that like a thing and want to talk about it.
That's no fun.
Yeah,
What?
I get paralyzed by choice quite a bit.
Yeah, Lawrence, do something you want to do. Watch something you want to watch. That's like, I've heard you say that a lot actually in the time that I've known you, and I'm always bummed to hear that, because I'm like, some of the things, yeah, definitely you should consume, like some of the, obviously the classics in terms of movies or television or whatever else, but if there's some like fucking new thing of the week that everyone's talking about, don't watch it if you don't want to watch it. Go watch something you want to watch.
Yeah, but then you miss out on that social interaction.
You do.
And I feel like I feel like there's some friendships where it's almost talked about like there's not a responsibility, but it's like, hey, this is how we can connect. And if you don't watch this 4-season TV series, we're not going to have anything to talk about.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
And then like, yeah, I mean that it's never been explicitly stated, but somebody be like, hey, have you watched this? And I'll be like, well, no, last night I was watching some bad like 80s action film. And they're like, oh, and that's it. Like, and I can ask them some things and they can ask me some things, I guess, but it just kind of fizzles sometimes. It feels like more and more like groups of friends or social circles kind of orbit around the media they consume. And if you get along with people, but you're not in that same orbit, then you just kind of lose things to talk about. It reminds me a lot of like being back in Texas and like Dallas in the mid to late 90s, where football was the only thing you talked about with people, and I didn't watch football, so I just feel like there were, and I know for a fact because people said it, there were tons of people who only watched football so they would have things to talk about with other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do we have this whole social layer Why can't we just talk about anything else? You know, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm lamenting the situation too much, but I do feel like sometimes there's like media hoops I have to jump through just to interact with people on any kind of meaningful level.
Yeah.
And even that's not that meaningful, so I don't know where I'm going with this.
Allow me to like not advocate for it, but sort of try and put myself in that position. What I've noticed about those scenarios, because I've been in those scenarios too, and I'm actually very conscious of them. I get into a scenario where I can't have a real conversation with somebody, so instead we talk about the weather, or we talk about football, or it's very surface level. And there's by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with like you knowing somebody, having an acquaintance, and every time you see them, you have the same general conversations about stuff. But if you ever want to like level up your friendship or relationship or whatever, then at that point you have to start talking about real shit. You start talking about the best way to do that, honestly, is to start talking about the things that are happening in your life, not about the media you consume. So like your feelings when blank, and then obviously, or you ask a lot of questions of somebody and have them explain their feelings to you. That's the best way to then actually establish a meaningful relationship versus only talking about whatever Westworld, because it won't go anywhere other than the fact that you guys agree or disagree on that. At least that's what I've noticed in my life.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know. It's the better conversations. The best conversations I have are the ones that when we actually talk about real shit, or talk about stuff that people are interested in, or talk about stuff that people are working on, or like that passion.
I agree. I think it's just people have a hard time talking when they don't feel like they have something that they can relate to. So they default to the easy stuff, which is
always
weather, because we all experience it, or sports, because if you're a local, then you'll know what the sports are. Or for my grandfather, it was like, how was the traffic on the way here? And like, oh, well, if you took this road, you probably could have shaved 5 minutes off there. I could care less. But it's like, you gotta kind of find how to navigate those opening barriers before you can then get to actual conversations.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with any of those conversations. I don't want anybody to think that there's something wrong with those conversations, because you're going to have those conversations all the time. And honestly, there are little things to glean from those conversations that you have with people. In my opinion, they're just the precursor to a better relationship. So usually it's like you start for a few minutes on that stuff, and then eventually you dive deep into the deeper stuff. That's the way normal human conversation works. So don't think that just because you guys are talking about football or the weather, whatever, that's bad. Ideally, you'll get down into the deeper stuff and you'll talk about the things you love, the things you don't like. So, because I've heard a lot of people be like, I fucking hate small talk. And I'm like, I don't hate small talk. I think small talk is kind of fun, and I get to find out people's personalities and their opinions about just random stuff that we all have to deal with. And usually,
I think it's fine if you can segue.
Yes,
quickly. But if you get
caught in it,
if it starts and stops, or you get caught in it for too long, then it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the one that segues out. I just need like any sort of in or thing I can relate it to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's tough. Somebody just said I hate it because I suck at it. Yeah, small talk is not easy to be good at. I don't know that it's a thing that people are good at.
I think it is. It's kind of a way of like disarming, like whatever, or resetting energies of a conversation. So it's like if you're just coming from something and someone else is coming from something else, and it's been like a shitty week, they can start and be like, hey, that meteor almost hit the earth yesterday. How do you feel about that? And they're like, well, I didn't know. Tell me about it. And you're like, yeah, we were about 30 miles from death. Anyway, let's talk about you.
That's a good icebreaker, yeah.
Immediately, the ice is shattered.
Yeah.
So
that's true. That's a good way to put it. I don't know. I think it's fun. I like talking to people, and a lot of people don't. So I think it's a fun thing to do, and to listen to people talk about their opinions and talk about I think it's interesting. But it's not easy. I know that a lot of people a lot of people talk about how it's hard, and so I got lucky because I was socialized from an early age. I was like, I grew up with, I didn't have a brother or sisters or anything, but I grew up around people of all ages all the time. That was just what happened. So I got lucky. But,
Yeah, it's for small talk being difficult. It is much easier the more you do it. Like most skills. I certainly had no ability until I got a job, like jobs, food and retail, where you do have to interact with people pleasantly all day. I was kind of amazed after a couple of months how, because I was the awkward nerd that just couldn't talk to anybody about anything that wasn't video games, and yeah, it's capacity to learn is always amazing.
yeah, that's like what you're talking about with football, Lawrence. Because I've heard people say that it's like, oh yeah, I watch baseball because it gives me something to talk about with my friends. Well, that might help. That might be the icebreaker they need to get in and actually make real friendships, which is cool. That's all right. Like as long as, like what Criken said, as long as you don't get caught in the the loop of small talk, which I think we probably all have with a few people in our lives. Then you got to sit them down and be like, all right, man, when are you breaking up with your boyfriend? No, you don't do that. Don't ask a serious question right off. That's also not good. That's not good. That's not the way to start a conversation. But
Yeah.
Somebody, not to completely swerve away.
yeah.
Keep going if you want, but somebody asked about the DMCA stuff going on Twitch.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to talk about that at all.
I figured that was pretty big. Well, big air quotes. It seems like a pretty big deal.
Has anybody hit? But you guys haven't been hit with it, right?
I
No,
deserve to.
I have friends that have, and it has kicked up anxiety for all of us. But yeah, not me personally yet.
I think Lawrence and I are lucky because we both do media share, and I'm like kind of not. To me, it's not really an if but a when type thing. What happened to your friends, Criken? Did they get like hit with a suspension, or was it?
Yeah, it was a takedown for a clip that was like from 3 years ago. It was Lawman, and I think it was like apparently. So "Cake by the Ocean" apparently is one of the songs I've seen going around as one of the most common ones that have been causing full-on takedowns. And it was like a situation where it was like playing for a short moment in a stream, and they like comment on it, and then they moved on to something else. But yeah, it gives me I don't know. It's, as we're seeing in this country, it's very hard to get change to happen. So I'm a little worried about how change is going to happen regarding copyright laws, especially when it's changed for loosening them, because it seems like it's a lot easier for a big company to say, okay, now this is not possible when it was before, because I'm going to exercise my rights and my money and make sure that people can't use this the way it's been being used. But to loosen those restrictions is a much harder fight, and I feel like we're going to reach a point where it kind of has to for a lot of the media that we do to continue the way it is.
I've been saying it for months and months and months and months. Like, Twitch is turning into YouTube, not because it has to, but because music companies and media companies are forcing it to.
Yeah.
As Twitch gets bigger, because it literally doubled in size over quarantine in terms of views, then more and more people take notice, and then lawyers go, "What the fuck? There's money to be made," and then they crack down, and that's just what happens as your favorite platform gets bigger. So Criken's gonna have to start his own streaming platform.
Go on, Criken, start your own streamer. Okay.
Yeah, Lawrence, what about
Jinx.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want to get jinxed.
Sorry, we both said at the same time. Go ahead, Lawrence.
I don't know. It's these situations. I feel like it's the easy one to take is like, how dare they? We're getting downtrodden. Those damn companies and their stupid laws. I guess kind of like what Bruce was saying with early YouTube. I feel like it wasn't hard to look around and realize this is not sustainable. There's no way people are going to get away with like monetizing the videos with the content that's in them.
Yep.
And it's a matter of time, and that's kind of like you, Bruce. It's how I felt about Twitch. I've seen streamers just straight up like have TV shows running on the side while they're streaming something, and I'm like, how do you even remotely think that that's not going to be a problem eventually? I am sometimes surprised at the like almost intentional myopia of content creators, where they flood into a site, they look around, and they just assume like if it's okay now, surely it must be okay forever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's youth. We've and Criken, to what you were saying about changing law. Yeah, I don't think that's in the cards really. The only thing that seems to work or that has worked is that there's almost a land rush, like a rights grab. It's kind of what happened with video games. I mean, Bruce, you know from G4, like if you were going to put something on broadcast TV, you had to get permission from the publishers for each game, right?
So for the games it was just like now actually, we had like kind of an unspoken rule where like, it's fine. You could, like since we had actual direct relationships with publishers and developers, most of the time it was fine. There was never a time that somebody would call us and be like, get that off the air, it's a video game. That almost never happens, and I think we're very lucky that we are in the industry we're in because of video games. Video games are generally pretty lax when it comes to that stuff. However, everything else, internet clips, television, movies, didn't matter. All that stuff we had to get permission for. And if we didn't, meaning there were risks that we would accept. And that's basically what our lawyers were doing there at G4 is our lawyers, we would clear everything through our lawyers before we put it on the air. So whether or not it was an internet video or a trailer for a movie or something like that, as long as we put it up and we commented on it, whether or not it was a commentary before, after, or during, like it was like opinion, then it could be considered transformative. And then once we did that, it was considered fair use. And fair use only lasts, I think, from what I remember at G4, is like 2 weeks. It was like you could air it for a few times, and then that was it. You could never air again.
Weird.
Because fair use would factor into the fact that if it was timely. So, like, let's say it was a movie trailer for a movie, like the trailer had just come out for a new trailer for whatever, Tenet, and then that releases, and then you put it on your stream and go, holy shit, whoa, commentary, like, I can't believe it, I'm so excited about the movie, blah, blah, blah. As long as you did that within the time limit of when that movie trailer came out, it could be considered timely and therefore fair use because it was news. But, like, if you decided to watch all of Inception right now, that wouldn't work because it's not transformative. Even if you're providing commentary, it wouldn't be considered transformative. Like, you wouldn't be able to monetize it, definitely. You'd probably get a copyright strike for just watching an entire movie on YouTube. And it's also not anywhere near news. So that's the kind of thing that doesn't work. And that's why I'm surprised that media share and like people playing like, hours and hours of playlists of music on Twitch while they're playing video games and stuff. I'm blown away that shit works still. I thought for sure that was going away. So yeah, I don't know.
That makes sense. I remember back in early Twitch days, like 2010, 2011, yeah, people were just playing straight up playlists, and some of the more popular streamers were popular just because they were playing good music. And that's when the fair use argument kind of falls apart, when the value of your stream or the reason people are watching or something other than what you yourself are creatively generating. I guess arguably that's the commentary like you were saying, but these people were just playing a video game at very low levels and blasting like K-pop. And it was awesome, don't get me wrong, but that's not why I was watching. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. What makes video games so unique is they don't exist by themselves. Like, a video game has to be played,
right?
And therefore there is some like base transformation value to it. But yeah, music and movies, they exist as they are, without the participation of a viewer.
I see.
So I kind of makes sense to me what's going on.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's always made sense to me. I see a lot of people saying this in my chat and your chat, Lawrence, too, and all the time, which is, isn't it free advertisement? Well, don't they love it because it's exposing it to a large audience? No. The answer is always no. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think. Like if you think that it's free advertisement or whatever, just take yourself out of that because it doesn't matter. You could go over there and shout at the lawyers until you're blue in the face. But I bought that album because I saw it on a Twitch. They don't give a fuck. The way they look at it is, well, no, they're being exposed to media they didn't pay for. That's it. That's the bottom line. And it sucks. I actually reached out to Twitch I was like, hey, is there any way you can tell me before I get a DMCA strike? And they said, absolutely not. They said, we are not in control of that. I'm not blaming Twitch for this at all, actually. They said they are allowed to do it whenever they want, and it just goes right through our platform. And I was like, holy shit. So that's,
yeah, they have no control, and that's the spooky thing is like,
yep.
There is no one you can complain to. Really,
yeah.
It's like
yeah.
Until there's, because like I mean I agree with you, Lawrence, that and Bruce, that there shouldn't be people that can just play entire shows or movies or listen to full albums on the top Spotify playlists and like that just goes and like they're fine with that. But like a lot of us, a song will come on in a video game, or even worse, imagine you're playing a multiplayer game and someone walks up and blasts a copyrighted song over their mic, and then you're like, well, I either have to leave the lobby right now or risk my entire career. Like that is totally unfair and a thing that I think has to be changed by some sort of law or policy or something. I hope that I know Twitch is working on some tools, I believe, that will make moderation easier, because right now the fault that is Twitch's fault is that there is no good Twitch or clip moderation tools. You can barely sort through clips from a specific game with your clips.
That's right.
You have to refresh the page like 80 times, and even then it's not organized in any way, and it's very impossible to look for a specific timestamp. So it's really not feasible to moderate what people are clipping unless you either turn it off entirely or delete them altogether, which is a really shame. It's a shame because I love the clipping system.
Yeah.
So and then there's also, I mean, to the point of someone blasting audio over their microphone, like the responsibility is also on the chat, where if someone just goes and clips out section that might be considered copyrightable, then that is now permanently branded on your channel until it's either deleted by the streamer or I think that's it. I don't think they can even delete it after they've made it. So the system's got to change, either how Twitch is allowing it to work or how the policy works on the legal side.
It is weird to me that there can't be some sort of escrow where they can't be like, you have 1 day to delete this clip, or like you have 5 days to delete this. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why they have to DMCA you right away when you don't even know, because right now we're in a system where we don't even know what will cause it. So why don't they give us time? That's the one improvement I could pitch to someone is send me an email and say, delete this clip or we're going to strike your channel. Like, oh yeah, done. And I'll delete it. That's the only thing that I can think of offhand that's like, well, why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't they just warn us before they fuck with us, I don't know.
I guess, yeah, the whole like retroactively rolling out DMCA takedowns on stuff that's 2 years old, that's absurd.
Yeah.
But it is, unfortunately, it's not very surprising that the arrangement is that it's all on you. The lawyer answers, well, just don't use any copywritten content in your stream and there won't be no problem.
It's such an easy
Lawrence is right.
answer.
Lawrence is totally right.
Just stream yourself sitting in a room talking with people, even though we're scrolling through Reddit and there's definitely copywritten stuff on there. So, it's on some level, I'm like, it's. I guess I think it's on a base level, it's a little absurd that I or anyone else can make revenue doing this. So that's why, and this is maybe not the best mindset to have, but that's why I tend to be a little more accepting when restrictions come in. I'm like, okay, it made sense there had to be some kind of string attached at some point, because the setup as it is now is impossibly beautiful. You just get to do whatever you want and people throw money at you. Come on. So when it's like, okay, now you can't play whatever music you want all the time, I'm like, oh, okay, that seems fair. But I do appreciate the tendency to, or the intention to push back as hard as possible. I guess what really frustrates me is I would feel better about this if I thought that any of the music labels were trying to protect the revenue flow that goes to artists, but that's also probably / definitely not the case.
No, they're not. They're definitely not.
I would like to believe, I would like to believe that because of this, more money goes to the people that I like that make music. But yeah, no, that's not it. They don't even own the music they make. They usually it's usually labels who buy it and then they own all the rights to it. So
that's how they're a business too. So that's how they survive, right? That's how they make their money, is by hiring these lawyers and then getting people on 10-cent charges over and over and over. This war has been going on since basically the beginning of the internet, and I don't really know that it'll ever stop because, well, I guess we're still basically like 30 years of this generation of people running those music labels. I wonder if the next generation of people in music labels might change this.
I think it's gonna be a almost like a Star Wars style, like, either they have the option of the ones that were raised in this area of the internet, as they now become these officials that are running these multi-billion-dollar media label companies. They either have the option of doubling down because they know how this copyright system works and squeezing even more money out of it, or they'll recognize that there's benefit to working with this medium, and they'll loosen up and work out more of a deal with them. So we just gotta hope that whoever ends up being the next Sith Lord or whoever is a little more lenient, because these guys seem like they're out of touch.
Criken.
Well, on that, I can shout out a couple of people real quick.
Oh yeah, do it. Go ahead.
I mean, like Jericho launched Night Mode, which is a label where all the music published under it is free to use in derivative works. There's an old chiptune artist that I listen to a lot, DJ Cutman. He has a label called Game Chops that does a lot of video game remixes. All the remixes they put out, they're like, you can use this just with attribution, basically. Mm-hmm. So there are some labels coming up that are founded and intended to be used in the modern media landscape. So I do see some of that movement that you're talking about, Craig, and I think your prediction is dead on. I think it's just going to take a while for both the business, that business cycle to start earning revenue and gain renown and acclaim. But it's young artists signing on with those labels too to push it. So
yep,
I'm excited about that stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess Jeremy Dooley put up all his stuff too for anyone to use. So. I hope that equals money for them in the long run. I guess we'll see, but that's kind of it. It's like, if the worst thing that all of us have to do is learn what labels and what platform holders are cool with their media being used, then suddenly the exposure idea gets really put to the test. If streamers are only using music from those libraries and that's the only thing people start listening to, then all of a sudden the Spotify listens to all those surge, everything else sinks, and the theory was correct in the end, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Then we have to find out. Well, guys, we did it. We made it to the end of number 31, right? Talk to the end of number 31.
Yes,
yeah. Okay,
31. I'll make the folder right now.
Yeah, make the folder. And I just want to say goodbye to YouTube. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. Thanks for putting up with us for taking a week break.
Appreciate you, YouTube.
All right. Goodbye, YouTube.
Good night.